Hello everyone, welcome to Legal Darshan. I hope you all are doing well. In today's video, we are going to discuss about the relevance of various legislations enacted under Hindu law. Before we proceed for Hindu law, it is important to note that Hindu law is a part of family laws, and family laws are personal laws pertaining to the religion of an individual. Our country, India, recognizes 8 religions through laws. They are Hinduism, Sikhism, Buddhism, Jainism, Judaism, Parsi, Christianity, and Islam. Therefore, the provisions made under Hindu law would specifically apply only to the Hindus, inclusive of Sikhs, Jains, and Buddhists. For Jewish, Christians, Muslims, and Parsis, we have their specific legislation pertaining to their personal laws. It is important to note here that the family laws are applicable to the family. And how do we define family in law? Family is the institution of cohesion of individuals by 3 modes: by blood, by marriage, and by adoption. Since a person marries another person and they perform conjugal duties towards each other, they give rise to progeny, and the connection between them and the progeny becomes the connection by blood, or they adopt a child and form a family. Therefore, the institution comes into the picture by the 3 modes: by the blood, by marriage, and by adoption. Therefore, in order to maintain a family, we need laws relating to marriage, adoption, maintenance, guardianship, succession and inheritance of the family property, etc. Therefore, we have 4 enactments to regulate the same. The Hindu Marriage Act 1955 regulates the marriage between 2 Hindus. It provides for the conditions of marriage, ceremonies to be performed to make a marriage valid, what are the rights and what are the duties in a conjugal relation, what kind of marriages are void and what kind of marriages are valid, and if any of the spouse demands separation, then what are the provisions for that. All of the relevant regulation related to a marriage are contained in Hindu Marriage Act. Further, we have Hindu Adoption and Maintenance Act of 1956 to regulate adoptions. It provides for the qualifications of a male or a female to adopt a child and provides for several duties and responsibilities that should be followed towards the adopted child. Now that when a family is formed out of marriage and adoption or by procreation of progenies, the enactment of Hindu Minority and Guardianship Act of 1956 governs how a family is required to be maintained, what are the duties of a guardian, who can be the guardian to the children, how do we maintain the wife, or if there is any widow or if there is any dependent in the family. All of these things are provided under Hindu Maintenance and Guardianship Act. And beyond that, when a family is working well, it has been maintained according to the laws and provisions, there comes the act relating to succession and inheritance of the family property, we know as Hindu Succession Act of 1956. It regulates the succession of the estate of a male and a female by providing different rules, and also talks about the qualifications and the disqualification of a person to be the successor to the property. Therefore, we can conclude that the marriage is governed by Hindu Marriage Act, adoption and maintenance is governed by Hindu Adoption and Maintenance Act, while the guardianship is espoused by Guardianship Act, and succession is governed by the Hindu Succession Act of 1956. Moving on, as we discussed before in this video, the Hindu law would specifically apply only to Hindus. It is important to note that out of the 4 acts, the Hindu Marriage Act and the Hindu Adoption and Maintenance Act would not only applies to the Hindus domiciled in the territory of India, but would also extend to the Hindus who are outside the territories of India. So if there is a Hindu couple residing abroad, let's say in London, they would have to abide by the Hindu laws related to marriage and adoption. Moving on, it is to be discussed that on which class of people would these acts apply in the territory of India? So it has been defined by these acts that the act applies to any person who is a Hindu by religion, including who is a Virashiva, a Lingayat, or a follower of Brahmo, Pratna, or Arya Samaj, to any person who is a Buddhist, Jain, or Sikh by religion. So it is very much clear here that Hindu law also extends to the people who belongs to Buddhism, Jainism, and Sikhism. It also says and provide a negative definition of the word Hindu, that all the people who are not Jewish, Christians, Muslims, or Parsis, they would be governed by Hindu laws. Therefore, if there is any person in the country who says that he does not practice any religion, he would automatically be governed by the Hindu laws. A child, be it legitimate or illegitimate, both of whose parents are Hindus, Buddhists, Jain, or Sikh by religion, would be referred to as Hindu under the Hindu law. If one parent of the child belongs to these communities, that is, the parent is Hindu, Buddhist, Jain, or Sikh by religion, and if the child is brought up as the member of group or family to which such parent belongs, then the child would also be governed by Hindu laws. Any person who converts or reconverts to Hinduism, Buddhism, Jainism, or Sikhism would also be governed by the Hindu laws. However, there is an exception to the applicability of Hindu laws to the members of any scheduled tribe who falls in the meaning of Article 366 of the Constitution. The tribes are excluded from the applicability of Hindu laws since they are governed by their own customs and usages, unless the central government by a notification in the official gazette directs the applicability of Hindu laws to these tribes, they would be excluded from the purview of Hindu laws. Therefore, in this video, we have dealt with the reason of enactment of various Hindu laws and their applicability. In our next videos, we are going to discuss more about the Hindu Marriage Act of 1955. I hope you liked this video. If you liked this video, please like, share, subscribe, and comment. For any more queries, suggestions, or feedbacks, please feel free to contact us at legaldarshan@gmail.com.